Hey everybody, in this video we'll be looking at PaperCutNG. We'll be looking at authentication bypass and remote code execution. So what PaperCutNG is, it is a software that helps enterprises manage their print jobs and printers. So let's get started. So through this video, what I'll be doing is I'll be explaining what went wrong and how it could be exploited to perform remote code execution and authentication bypass. So get started with the theory first. So typically what happens in a particular installation flow is that you have an exe file that you install on your host machine. Typically, the first user that installs that application is the admin user. So first of all, the admin user installs that application and then he creates other user roles and other user accounts. So typically what happens is after the setup has been completed, let's say the last URI endpoint which completes the setup is setup completed. Typically the user should be taken to the login screen to log that user in. But what was happening here is after the setup was complete, there was a class that was being called, and what that class had was a function which was perform login function, and that login function fetched the username of the admin and logged that user admin. So what was happening is just as the user completed the setup, the user that automatically got logged in was the admin user. So this is what we are going to exploit it. The last screen that occurs is the setup completed endpoint. So we'll be directly navigating to that endpoint, and hopefully this function should get triggered, which will log us as admin users. So right now, as you can see, I'm not logged in as any user. Let's take the URL and paste it in. Now here, as you can see, this is the setup completed endpoint that I'm navigating to directly, and hopefully it should directly log me as admin user. Now I'm clicking on the login button, and as you can see, I'm directly logged in as the admin user. Now, why did that happen? That happened because of this function. Now, let's see how we can perform remote code execution. Because there are printers in scope here, because all this application does is it manages printers. Go to the printers option, navigate to the template, go to scripting because they typically have scripts for automating things, and click on enable print script. Now, once that is done, I can use Java runtime to execute a function. Now, Java runtime lets you do that. And here is the syntax for that. So here I'm using the same syntax, but I'm performing a ping command. So here I have my TCP dump setup. So I'm using TCP dump with an interface and I'm using the ICMP protocol. Now using the Java runtime library with the ping command, my private IP address, clicking on the apply button, and here as you can see I am getting pings. So this is how we can perform remote code execution on PaperCutNG.